decided why college is worth attending today. I still believe that it is worth attending. When I asked around a lot of people, like students here, why they chose to still go to college, some people said that they never thought of it as an option. It was more just necessary. As of 2010, 75% of Americans agreed that college was a necessity and very important. And a lot of people also said that it's just become something that they thought was necessary to move on in life. The promise of success, a bright future, and security are also associated with a college degree. There are different types of colleges. You don't have to just go to a four-year private school like Siena. There's public and private. And private schools tend to be on the more expensive side, but there's also public schools which can be cheaper, but out-of-state residents for a public school can be just as expensive as private schools. Community colleges are two-year institutions, and they are a little less expensive, and they're also helpful if you're just going to take a few courses, you don't know what you want to do, but just to get something under your belt. There's also technical schools or trade schools, and they are good for things like if you know exactly what you want to do with your life. If you want to go to culinary school, go into mechanics, technician, something like that. Reasons for attending college. The U.S. is transforming to a society based on knowledge. A college degree today is comparable to a high school diploma 40 years ago. Current generations are becoming different from past ones. Connections made during college can be helpful when looking for jobs and interviewing. If you know someone, you can get the upper hand. If you have a connection through a professor at Siena and you go in for the interview and it's a friend of the professor, you can bond through that, and that'll make you stand out and be more comparable to someone else. Also, colleges have multiple opportunities and experiences that you generally would not be able to receive if you didn't go to college. Like studying abroad, you're not going to have that opportunity very much if you don't, unless you take it in your own hands and go. Also, they have like the clubs and everything getting involved on campus. You don't have that if you don't attend college. Data supporting these facts. In 2010, the median earnings for a high school graduate was $626 a week, equaling $28,816 a year, and that is for someone who's 25 years or older. Versus someone who had graduated and earned a bachelor's degree, they earned $1,038 a week and equaled $59,539 a year. In 1970, only 26% of middle-class workers had any kind of education beyond high school. Today, nearly 60% of all jobs in the U.S. economy require higher education. In 2010, another study was done that showed 10.3% of people with a GED were unemployed, while only 5.4% of individuals with a bachelor's degree were unemployed. In 2013, they did the test again, and 8.1% of GED or high school graduates were unemployed, while only 3.7% of people with a bachelor's degree were unemployed. Graph showing the difference. And while both decreased, the number of individuals with a bachelor's degree being unemployed is still significantly less. The benefits of having a degree are, in 2008, 68% of college graduates working at least part-time received health care, and while only 50% of people who just have high school grads received these same benefits. Furthermore, when you have a degree and you're in a company, it's more likely you're going to be promoted and move up the ladder if you have the degree over someone who just has a high school diploma. A lot of people argue that they can get a job that doesn't require a degree just fine and they don't need to go and it's a good paying job. Even if you can get this job, and on average, someone who has a degree over someone who does not have a degree will earn more. And once you have a degree, you're looked at in the company as someone who will be promoted over someone else if you're competing for someone with a job for a promotion. Also, many people will start at a job that might be below them, especially in today's economy. The jobs are tough, and just because you're overqualified for something doesn't mean that you're not going to move up. You can't use it as a stepping stone or have somewhere to start. Most people say that it's too expensive to go. That's the main argument. college is outrageously expensive, but there are multiple things that you can do to help with the cost. Public schools for in-state residents can be relatively inexpensive. If you don't live there, it can be under $10,000. Community college are also a cheaper option, and if you don't know what you're doing, take a few classes, explore your options before you commit to something like four-year college, like Siena. If you don't know what you're doing, you can't afford it, it's kind of pointless to spend all that money. Also, government offers financial aid, and there's multiple scholarships that you can get to help with the cost. A lot of people say that there's so many people out there that have succeeded at a college degree. There's actresses, athletes, and I use the example of Steve Jobs. He is someone who did not finish college, but he dropped out of Reed College after 6 months. It was too expensive, his parents were spending all his money, and he couldn't afford it. But rather than just give up, he spent the next 18 months dropping in on classes, usually like creative classes. His most influential one was calligraphy, and without it, he stated that he would not have created the Mac the way he did. The multiple typefaces and the proportionally spaced fonts were all because of that one calligraphy class that he dropped back in on. He is an exception. Before attending any sort of college, he was already extraordinarily bright. He was already doing things that a normal high school student wouldn't have done. And also Bill Gates. People like that, they probably would have benefited from going to college, but they didn't need it. They made their own way out of it. In conclusion, everyone here clearly thinks that college is necessary, otherwise you wouldn't be here. We go to a private school, Siena. It's relatively expensive compared to some other schools. And it is correct that you need a degree. There's a possibility that you can succeed without a college degree, but the chances of you succeeding with a college degree are much greater. "50 years ago, it was a high school diploma that you needed to succeed. Now it is something from technical school, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, or a PhD. And with the way the economy is today, it's only becoming more and more important that you have an education."
Are you satisfied with your Siena choice?
Yeah, I actually didn't plan on going here whatsoever, and I'm really happy. I mean, I've changed my major, I don't know what I want to do, but I'm happy with the school.
Are you doing student loans at this particular point?
No.
Okay, so you're fortunate that you don't have to do that, so that's good. Others?